it needs to be made.
I don't know if I'm going to last if we don't start it soon.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
Well, don't you have 500 hours for this?
Wait, so are we started for Zodiac now?
Yeah, we're on.
So
Basically,
12 o'clock, so
oh, okay. So I mean, like,
Zodiac is a 3-hour film about
no,
a guy who
it's
killed
2
people
hours
and didn't...
42.
Oh, sorry. It's a 2-hour 42 film about a guy who killed people and didn't get caught and never did get caught. And that's the film.
yeah, sponsored by Chevrolet and Animal Crackers, because that's the main things we see, like very plastered everywhere.
Also, I've got 2 hours 37.
Obviously.
No,
Oh yeah.
Ah, he's got the wife beater.
better drink.
Ooh, very nice.
The usual.
Oh, Ben.
Okay.
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 Cool.
I'm gonna go
and the
for
Coca-Cola machine. Yeah.
I'm gonna go for a piss. I'll be back.
Unhealthy stuff.
Uh-huh.
Where's my water?
You sounded like James L. Jameson.
Where's my water?
I don't even know who that is.
Mufasa.
But this film, like, I've like technically still have like 10 minutes left, 20 minutes left on this film, but I kind of know where it's going anyway. This film is, it started off so interesting, then it just went on about it, right? And I just can't, I've like, after watching Silence of the Lambs, they're watching this, I should have watched this then Silence of the Lambs. I would have had a much better time.
Yeah, I do think it suffered from being in a double bill with Silence of the Lambs, because I think it's a good film. Like I'm not saying it's bad in any way. I mean, I think it plods on a bit, but other than that, I do think it's a really good film. But I think when you've watched Silence of the Lambs, which is like a film that most of the world agrees is a masterpiece, it's hard to follow it.
Oh, actually, Pat, why did you choose this as a double bill?
Because they're both centered around serial killers. One being one that we can actually identify from the beginning of the film, and obviously the other one is one that they never catch. But it's predominantly this sort of serial killer, sort of grisly thriller aspects that I've gone with here.
Okay.
I think they both complement each other quite well. Like, one is based on fact, the other one is based off a book that's based off of real life characters.
Fair enough. It's like no. I'm not just shook out of what you're saying. No matter how much Alex laughs, it's a question of like I feel like it's just like you compare the comparisons to them. It's like
One is based off fact, one is also based off fact.
No.
Fucking goddamn it! I've got.
Fair enough. I'm glad I checked.
Okay, but yeah, I feel like because Zodiac never actually spoilers. Zodiac actually never really gets caught. It feels
He still
like
hasn't been caught.
Yeah, but it's just I feel like because it's too based on real life, and it becomes like this. There needs to have some sort of. It lacks a bit of it, but then again, because it's based off real life, there's no dramas. There's nothing that really builds up to make it a suspenseful movie that like keeps you hooked. It kind of like, oh yeah, okay, killer, interesting thing happens, and even in the movie, then after they're like, you know how many people he killed, and you know how many people have died since then, like over 200. It's no point anymore. This guy is like, okay, cool. So it's like, and it just becomes.
It's all very flat, because it's like I was saying to Alec earlier. I think it would have been a bit more poignant if the focus was this is all the ways in which the police have failed to catch this guy, rather Robert Graysmith really wants to catch this guy, and he just really wants to, and he really wants to catch him. Like it's.
I think because that was my. So I watched. Eb's really into her crime stuff. as I.
She's really into petty theft.
You mean
really likes fraud and shit. She loves it. But so I watched it with her because I was like, "How much of this is like accurate?" And she was like, "Basically, like 99% of it is accurate." But it's stuff like when they had the interview with the guy who they're really sure is the Zodiac killer, to the point that they have the end scene with Jake Gyllenhaal where he's like looking at him in the eye to know that he's a Zodiac killer. That scene was actually like spaced out over 3 separate interviews. He didn't just lay it all out in one shot. He didn't just crumble completely under pressure. He didn't just go, "Oh, by the way, I was here and I was here and I was here and I did this and I did that," and just like really incriminate himself in 67 different ways. That didn't all happen in one interview. It happened it happened spaced over 3 interviews. And it was like, did we not have time in this 4,800-minute movie to
Sorry, yeah.
have him be a bit more competent? We had to do this thing again where we go, Jake Gyllenhaal really wants to catch him, and he really wants to catch him, and he really wants to catch him.
Didn't you once pick a 5-hour film?
Yeah, and more happened in it. More
Wait,
character stuff happened.
What film was this?
This was Seven Samurai, which isn't even the longest film we've had before. But even if you think about Love Exposure or Seven Samurai, we covered like a lot more ground than Zodiac Killer killed people, and Jake Gyllenhaal really wanted to catch him, but they couldn't catch him, and they couldn't catch him, and they couldn't catch him. He wanted to catch him, but he couldn't catch him, and they wanted to catch him, and they couldn't catch him, over and over and over and over and over again.
It's because they were so focused on catching them all.
They really wanted to catch him, and they couldn't catch him. So they focused some more, and then realised that was why they couldn't catch him.
And they went, "Oh, hey, let's ask the person who met him. Why not? It's been 2 hours. Let's go." It's like, I'm not doubting it happened. I'm just saying this film didn't need to be nearly 3 hours long. And
it's based off of a book that the guy wrote, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm confused for a minute.
Book.
Was
No,
it based on
Silence of
the
the Lambs was based off a book.
No, yeah, but Zodiac was based off of a book that Robert Graysmith wrote in real life, I think.
I don't know anything about that. All I know is
in the fucking
a
film?
lot of the accounts in the film were from people that actually survived the attacks. There's one attack, which was apparently the first attack from the Zodiac Killer, that they didn't include in the film because there was no survivors from it.
Oh,
But
shit.
like I think it was like 3 main attacks that they sort of showed in the film. There was one survivor from each, so they were able to interview those specific people to get like an account for making this film. But I don't know about the book. I didn't delve that deep into it.
Well, if the book is anything like the movie, they're going to talk about handwriting a fucking lot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my fucking god. I feel like I'm back in school with someone critiquing my handwriting. I was like, is my handwriting making me a murderer? Do I write my L's too fucking close together? Fuck you! What the fuck is this shit? Because they have the handwriting thing with the guy who's ambidextrous, right? And it's like, oh yeah, we go to this one handwriting expert. The guy goes, no, the handwriting's not the same. But what if we written with his other hand? Okay, still no. Okay, well, we go to the second handwriting expert, and we go, okay, we've got something written with his right hand. How about but you need to find something written with his left hand, and it's fucking Jesus fucking Christ! There's so much just writing like the words "kill." Yeah. Because wait, no, that's the typo. But like the handwriting is just so. Talk about handwriting for about fucking 30 minutes of this film.
To be
And
fair, it's quite important
yeah, but like
because you got to remember
it didn't fucking help, did it?
the killer was sending cryptic letters into the FBI office or whoever was investigating it. So they've had to basically match up different handwritings from people they suspect might have done it, and that, like, you got to consider the time period was between 1968 and 1983. So they have only specific ways of catching.
Okay, Pat, I will agree with you that during that time period, that is probably what has happened, right?
Yeah.
But for the fucking movie, they could have went just to the first handwriting expert. They didn't need to go to a fucking second one if they knew the results were the fucking same, where it's not the fucking killer. It's wasted fucking too much time. It fucking pisses me off. And I still haven't fucking finished this film. Got like 10 minutes left. Jesus Christ. So
We're dealing with the guy who picked Boa versus Python, all right? We only expect the best.
Jesus Christ. My film was fucking at least entertaining. It was like, it's so fucking stupid. But it kept going. I'm like, why the fuck is this so stupid? Jesus Christ, it kept you cooked.
Boa versus Python was entertaining for the first 20 minutes.
No,
it's more than I can say for Zodiac.
But Zodiac wasn't supposed to be entertaining.
Wow, fucking hell, then. Like, no comment on that. Jesus.
Weird defense, but okay.
Zodiac is a
entertaining film, said Pat.
It's supposed to be a sort of like a real account of a specific crime.
But I feel like they could have done it. They could have like shown it out with the handwriting thing for one thing, right? But they could have added like a little bit more spice to it, I guess, because they went on for so long, it became a bit bland. They could have had like the characters interact with each other more angrily, because like you have like Robert Downey Jr., who's like Paul Avery, John Avery. Well, I can't remember. Yeah, Avery, right? And like you had him with the detective, and you got angry with the Mark Ruffalo's that detective character. There could have been a bit more tension there. It made it interesting, but they didn't. And like I know it could have been like fluffing it up a bit, and like not quite retelling true accounts, right? But it's a movie. It's supposed to be fairly interesting, or it could, or we might have well have watched a fucking 4-hour documentary about it, because that's what became of it.
If you add spice to it, then you're going to have people like Alec saying, "Oh, it's all contrived."
No, but to be fair, so this has made me think worse of it, right? So I've googled whether it was based on a book. Apparently, it was based on 2 books that were both written by Robert Graysmith. The first one was written in 1986, and the conclusion of the first one was that it might have been one of 2 people. And then he wrote another one in 2002 going, I think I've worked out it's one of them. And it's like, well, I don't know. I'm trusting this less and less.
I feel like, okay, next time I'm going to do a fucking The Making of Godzilla movie, the documentary. It's like 5 hours. It's supposed to be like a TV series, but they condensed it into like a fucking movie. We'll make you all watch that, see the guy getting the rubber suit and shit.
There's one problem with that. Godzilla isn't real. The Zodiac killer is.
But like,
it might not be.
Might not be. Yeah.
Well, the situation is real. Like,
okay,
we don't, like, nobody knows who the killer is. Like, I mean, fucking hell, nobody is. There's so many like unsolved crimes in the world anyway. Go on, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna go.
No worries, man.
You've taken in a lot of Zodiac right now.
Huh?
I said that's okay. You've taken in a lot of Zodiac right now.
Yeah. Take care.
all right.
See you later, man.
Okay, man.
Best of luck.
Okay.
You
Well,
killed Emmanuel, Pat. Fucking hell. With your fucking.
Suck me dick. I just realised we're live streaming as well.
Don't worry. I've said sorry. I've said worse things anyway, so it doesn't matter. But like, in any case, I feel like I get what you're trying to say. It's based on real life events, so you shouldn't really like mess with it too much. And it's like you try to tell the proper story, like unabridged. But because it's unabridged, it becomes long-winded, and because it's long-winded, it becomes like just.
Yeah, are you telling me we couldn't lose one scene of Robert Graysmith?
What I probably
obsessing
would
over
say
this?
is like, I know Ben appreciates it as much as I do, as a
What an
film in
indictment.
general. It probably would have been better as like a TV series, like
Oh, fuck it now.
what Netflix are doing currently regarding the 9/11 stuff, where they're doing an account over like 8 or 9 hour-long episodes. I think it could probably have done with that.
I don't know, because I think if you stretch this out any longer, it's for what they were going for in the story they told. It's just more of Robert Graysmith going, well, I think it might be this person because I've worked this out, and I really just really want to solve it. And I'm not sure that's the interesting part of this story.
Even the director's cut's only 5 minutes longer than this.
What, really?
Yeah. The version on Amazon is 2 hours 37. The director's cut is 2 hours 42.
I didn't know that there was a director's cut is the point, right? It's like, why was there a need for it? What 5 minutes could have been added?
I don't know what 5
More
minutes.
handwriting.
Oh, fuck you.
Jake
Jesus
Dillon already
Christ.
wants to solve it, alright.
Maybe the editor got like an hour into it, chopped 5 minutes, and thought, you know what, just let him have it.
It's already 70 hours long. Go for it.
Are you eating a Slim Jim, Pat?
Bite of the James. No one knows that reference because Fundamentals of Caring was fucking ages ago.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's all right. It's a reference you're absolutely not going to get because it was pick number 7. And we're currently on pick 100 and something. I don't know.
107?
I don't remember what pick number 7.
121, I think.
It was Fundamentals of Caring. Paul Rudd does a fantastic English accent because he's trying to get the kid to beat a Slim Jim, and he's going, "Bite of the James," and it's basically just that.
Okay.
Yeah, 121.
It makes me absolutely crease. Yeah, we're on pick 121. So, and you came in on pick
101.
101. So pick number 7's way out of your league. Sorry, buddy.
Okay. I'll just watch it later then. I've got there's a lot of films I have to watch later.
It's on Netflix. Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Easy.
We'll have to get through. I have to get through Emmanuel's picks first, and that's
that's
gonna be a lengthy process.
If you like genital mutilation,
No, who doesn't?
I don't.
everybody.
But sorry, we should actually give Dan and Ben a chance to speak. Sorry, give us your opening statements of what you guys thought about this film.
Oh, who's done opening statements for this yet?
It's just
No one.
Just Simon.
Yeah, just me being angry. Sorry.
Just that rant I kind of wandered into. Let's go. Go on, Ben, in like 10 words or
more.
I better be as quick as I can because my battery is almost going to die, so I won't be able to stay much longer.
Lightning round, speed run.
So, Zodiac it's not one of my favorite David Fincher movies, but it is something that I do appreciate. It's technicality and it's how it's the precision of how they made the film and how every that was like meticulously covered. I think when I watched it, I was like, it would have been a really good companion piece to All the President's Men. I don't know if you've seen that film, but it's about the basically Watergate and Richard Nixon's like how they basically
Oh,
carried
okay.
them out. So it's basically that film but with murders. So I don't think you guys would like that film any much more than this. But it's basically about a bunch of guys trying to uncover the truth. And I feel that this film encapsulates this and how it takes its toll on different people, and how every one of the main characters suffers the consequence of dealing with this killer in their day-to-day life, and their work and life balance is completely turned upside down by how they put themselves into the case. And obviously Jake Gyllenhaal, his sacrifice was losing his family to a degree. He still had thankfully had the connection to his kids at the end of the day, but his wife was completely lost from him. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. completely lost himself with alcoholism. And Mark Ruffalo's character, he was the only one that managed to step away at the right time before it can destroy his life. And I feel that it's not so much about the killer, it's about what covering the truth and trying to catch the killer would have an effect on the people trying to do so. So I think it's a good character study in that regard. And I feel that they really to that well.
No, I get that. But I mean, not to like disregard your statement, right? But essentially you said that no. Let me finish. You said essentially that the Zodiac killer, this Zodiac movie, wasn't interesting because of the Zodiac killer. It was in fact just interesting because of the people who were just chasing the Zodiac killer. So the Zodiac killer wasn't interesting at all itself.
No, it was interesting, but it was another part that made the film worth making, because the other side of the case is just as interesting as the killer himself.
Yeah,
It's
I wouldn't say that was a problem at all. Like,
No,
yeah,
it
I'd say
adds to the story, because if he didn't do that, he would just have a documentary. This film
Fair enough.
it didn't have that aspect.
Fair enough. Okay. No, I just had to clarify that. Okay.
yeah, seeing how people react to it is a really good way to flesh them out. So yeah, I ain't got a problem with.
Dan, get off your phone.
Yeah.
He's checking out tattoos for his next festival.
Give us your statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, SpongeBob.
Whoa. That was a pump. I was going to say.
It was.
It wasn't a fart.
Oh. Derailment. No, I find like the story interesting. It's just they did a really boring job. There was, I did like some bits, like the bit where the bloke's in when they go in the house, and I'm standing there, sitting there, going, "Don't go in the house. If you know this bloke could be a murderer, you don't go in their house and go in the basement." I thought there was some really dumb decisions, like Robert Downey Jr. going to a fucking parking lot or going in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, "Yeah, I think he might get murdered." It's like, who makes these decisions? But other than that, yeah, it was a bit long. Yeah, I think it had some good bits. It was an interesting story, but they could have. I don't even say spicing it up would even have helped.
Okay. Okay. Let's not say spice it up then. All right.
We needed more crocodile butts.
It's kind of
Ooh.
no. Okay. No. Okay. It's the thing with what's that fucking like movie about fucking Facebook? Ah, Jesus, with
Social
fucking,
network.
Yeah. I mean, the things that happened in Social Network were based off real life. Wink, wink. But like, they added characters and they added the interactions with the characters to be more dramatic. Like, fucking throwing that laptop of the fucking table, right? They had like 10 laptops set aside just so he could throw it off the table to be more dramatic. And they took 10 shots and broke 10 fucking laptops just to make that scene, which to me is hilarious. But it's like that's obviously that's not what happened in real life. But they added like some drama, some character development, and it made it slightly more interesting. But because this has about as this is the character development between the characters that have interacted in real life was just so subpar. You had what was it? Yeah, you had Mark Ruffalo hit the notepad out of Robert Downey Jr.'s hand, and I was like, "Is that it? Like, is he gonna turn into like the Hulk or some shit?" Maybe that's maybe it's because I have my Marvel misconceptions, right? But I was like, this is not captivating. It's like it lacks character.
Hmm. Are we still doing the personal statement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Who else still has to go?
Most of us.
Most of them. Wait, did Humphrey just give his?
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's me, Rob, or Pat. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
So like, I knew like very little about the subject matter before I saw the film first. I sort of just as you do, sort of browsing through the TV, and I sort of saw this. But being someone that sort of likes documentary stuff and just general stuff about serial killers,
You mean true crime?
well, yeah, of sorts. I genuinely found this quite captivating from start to end. Like I like when I first saw it, I didn't even know if they'd catch him or not. So it was sort of a constant like, oh, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Yeah, it was slow and long-winded, granted, but I still wanted to get to the end to see what actually happened. And I can see where people sort of turned off, where at the end it's like, well, they haven't caught him. But I think that's still part of the charm of the actual product. Now, Ben's personal statement made me think of it in a different way, that I wasn't really thinking about it anytime I watched it, where it was, yeah, it centers around a serial killer, but it's more about the characters and how they dealt with the pursuit of the Zodiac killer. And I think that makes it probably more interesting. But after listening to you guys moan about how boring it is, I could probably understand why you didn't get on with it. Like, it's not the most exciting film.
Well, it's not really meant to be.
Yeah, it's not meant to be, but like, it's probably only going to appeal to. It's only going to appeal to a certain audience, but not this audience.
I don't know. There was another bit that got me, and it was the fact that the time jumps. Like, it was like 2.5 weeks later, 2 days later, and I was just like, oh, and it kept jumping a lot. I was like, oh, fuck. That's probably because, if he's doing it for real, he's probably got a diary of like what's happened. So.
Well, the account is from between 1968 and 1983, so you're going to have like certain time jumps. Like, you're going to get like a couple of days, then a couple of months, and then I think it jumped like 4 or 5 years then towards the end.
Yeah, as it got to the end, that's when it kind of got a bit sludgy. It was when it kind of didn't really. When he kind of got a bit obsessed again, it was just like, oh, go away.
Yeah. Oh, Ben.
Right, yeah, go on.
I've got 2%, so I'm going to cut off in a minute. So I'll say goodbye to you guys now.
Yep.
Do you want me to
Favourite-
announce the film now or not?
Favourite
Yeah, go on, mate.
What's your
Yeah,
film,
this-
Ben?
To the surprise of no one except
Is it-
Dan, next week's film is The Producers.
Is it The Producers?
Yeah.
The remake.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
the original 1960s one.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have. Oh, we have to watch another Snake movie again.
You can watch the remake, but it's entirely up to you.
Okay.
So
Alright,
see you later,
what-
guys.
All right. Take
Yeah.
care, Ben.
See you
Yeah,
later,
have a
mate.
good night, guys.
Film scene.
Rob,
Yeah,
would you
yeah.
like to give your personal statement?
No,
Yeah, go on then.
you're not allowed.
Yeah, I do think there's something interesting in there. I don't think it's like a complete bust, but I think maybe what gets me about it is that for a story that should be quite simple, because really all it is that this guy really wants to solve this case, and like regardless of how high a profile the case is, like that's the crux of it, and that's a really simple thing. I think the film has ended up being really excessive. And what I mean by that is that I think there's a lot more runtime than what it needed. And there's a lot that so an example, right? So apparently on the close-ups when you see Jake Gyllenhaal's hands, apparently CGI hair was added because
Yeah.
David Fincher thought that his hands were too pretty. And it's just bits like that. I think that's a common theme within it, where it's like you could just, it's fine as it is, but why not go that extra step? And it's like because you don't need to. And I think
Right.
everything that this film does that a bit. And I think what it's resulted in is something that could have been quite interesting, but actually ends up quite ponderous.
I think they could have left it a bit more ambiguous instead of just saying, "Oh, it's that man," when it clearly, well, it might have been him, but they clearly didn't find out it was him. Whereas this film kind of says he was the murderer, which
But we can't prove it.
we can't prove it. So you're basically giving false information at the end because they're kind of saying he did it, but then
Hey, just because you can't prove facts doesn't mean they're not true.
remember,
There was another thing there, Rob. So did you go through the IMDb trivia thing?
No. So the thing about the CGI on his knuckles is something that I read on Letterboxd.
Yeah, so I read that on IMDb, and there was another one as well. Apparently David Fincher got everyone to speak their lines quick, so he could do it in one cut and save time.
I thought
Oh.
that was fucking ridiculous. That's just the epitome of being like, oh, nine
But-
women can give birth to 9 babies in 1 month.
But
That's
that was on
just fucking
IMDb. It's
stupid.
not. I don't know whether it's actual fact or not, because that
Oh,
seems
okay.
like an impossible thing to do.
That's the thing. Like I was saying to Alec earlier that he apparently did that, and it's like I'm saying apparently because it doesn't seem like it's true, but apparently it is.
Yeah, but you got to remember the stuff that's put on IMDb. IMDb stuff is just from people like us.
It
So
gets
they
fact
could-
checked though, doesn't it?
I don't know. It feels like Wikipedia. There's a lot of stuff on Wikipedia that's not true either.
No, but surely surely there's some level of fact checking because otherwise you could just go and put yourself in the credits of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
True.
there is like people who do the citations and all that stuff. So there's a certain level of truth. So I mean, we'll see how much level of truth it is.
I could
Yes.
believe that he did some where he's like, right, we're gonna have everyone say their lines really quickly so we can wrap this scene up. I don't believe that he's done it through the entire film, because you got to think this is like a near 3-hour film. So how much are they like? How much are they expecting the cast to actually do? Like talking quick's quite difficult.
is it?
Bless you.
Well, it is.
Did you find that Robert Downey Jr. in this film is just typical
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I feel like that character kind of suited it because if he's supposed to be, I wouldn't say a hot shot. Well, I was gonna say a hot shot like reporter, right? And he's like, I gotta get like the scoop, but he slowly divulges into blue cocktails and like obsessions. Then yeah, that's probably his own fault.
Oh,
But
he's a hotshot Tony Stark.
Basically,
Before he
yeah.
was Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though, because like Robert Downey Jr. is another actor who only ever plays. I was going to say he's another actor who only ever plays Robert Downey Jr., but that's not what I mean. He's another actor who only ever plays himself, and
It's another actor who only plays Sean Connery.
but because he only ever plays himself, and now I associate himself so much with Iron Man, I just felt like I was watching Iron Man. It was really taking me out of
did
it.
feel like that. I can't lie, it did feel like I was watching Iron Man because he had the same fucking mannerisms.
Well,
Even when he was drinking, he was all doing the same shit.
then it was like him having that Pong game like on the TV. I was like, yeah, it's just like something he'll just have, right? Yeah, it really feels like it could be Iron Man. Just
Which is interesting because I don't think it's something that you can necessarily. Oh, I was about to say I don't know if you can level it at Mark Ruffalo, but like, I feel like there is an element of Hulk in there. Like, not a lot, but like it's not dissimilar.
Well, the argument they were having in the car park just reminded me of like the argument they were having in Avengers 2 in the lab.
Yeah,
just-
it's not necessarily. It's not exactly the same, but like, yeah, just
It's in the same ballpark.
Just that scene where Jake Gyllenhaal's like fucking like banging on the door, and like Mark Ruffalo's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill him." So it's like, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like the first scene you see of Mark Ruffalo is he has to answer the phone, but he fucking knocks down that fucking lamp and goes, "Okay, whoever this is, you fucking owe me a new lamp," and it's just like, it feels a bit.
You know what? I'm not even. I'm going to retract that. Mark Ruffalo is doing a vastly different character here. Like that's just that whole thing of like he's a very much more confident person, and like when he breaks the lamp, he's like, "No, that's okay. Let me just describe the lamp that you're going to buy me." Like he's a much more confident entity than Mark Ruffalo. Fucking hell, than Bruce Banner in these films. So yeah, okay, I will take that back. But like, I think it was just like there's an underlying sort of element of anger, sort of there that.
Oh, and he really likes crackers.
He really fucking likes animal crackers. Jesus fuck! I never. Gee.
I feel I don't know if that's actually just a characteristic thing that they had for the story, or the actor detective were like, "Nah, man, I lived on animal crackers for like the good couple of years that I was doing this case," and they probably just put it into the book. I feel like it could have been one of those off statements.
Could you imagine doing the interview for the role? So, do you like animal crackers? No, I can't give you the job. Can't give you the role then.
Sorry, the actor we're going to give this to has to have a genuine like fucking addiction to this. Like, you need to really fucking like these.
I just, I don't know. It's just like
I think what Humphrey said was correct, and you can all quote me on that because like it is weird for me to say this. Humphrey
Good for you
was
to
correct.
say someone is correct.
Yeah, and it's Humphrey. I mean, fucking hell, what's wrong with me? But yeah, you do hit a point where we just keep coming back to Jake Gyllenhaal and what he's doing, and it's like, oh, was there a bit of a slow point? Let's go back to Jake Gyllenhaal and see what he's doing. And I was like, no, we came out of Jake Gyllenhaal doing what he was doing. Come on. And it's like, no. We're just doing Jake Gyllenhaal for like about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, can we fuck off from him, please? For like any amount of time. I'll take anything, please. But we just end in this like tar pit of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And he's still doing what he was doing 45 minutes ago. he's just still doing it, and it's like he's having trouble with his girlfriend, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he is.
Because he's
And it's like he's not hanging out with his kids, and I'm like, no, I don't reckon he is doing that much either. And it just keeps going, and it's like, yeah, and I it's like the ocean. I'm just like, yeah, no, I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
Other characters are just like, fuck off. I've had enough of this. We didn't sort it out then, and it's never going to get sorted. And they just keep going on about it, and they're like, just
Everyone just
Fuck
keeps
off.
telling him to fuck off, and he goes, yeah, but I really want to solve it. And they go, yeah, but fuck off.
Off.
And he goes, okay, but I really want to solve it. And he goes, yeah, but
I have a better life, better things to do in my life than.
and yeah, I've made my feelings very clear on these. I dislike this kind of story where it's just an unsolved mystery, and it just ends with this. And
But they make it sound like he was the person, which he wasn't. It's
but
kind of,
that was the thing. At the time it was made, he probably did like the clear like outlier of it, but
because
this is even more frustrating where it's like, oh, we can't pin him on it, and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess.
What we need is the sequel.
No, we don't need a sequel to this. I don't need to waste another 80 fucking hours on this.
Did you know a bit of fun fact? That
Is there a fun fact on this?
You know the ciphers that the person had made. There was 3 unsolved ones, and they only solved one 2 years ago.
Okay.
The most recent one that got solved was last year, so I think they've solved.
Oh.
think they've solved 2 of the 3 now.
Really?
It's only taken them 30
No,
something years.
it's longer than that.
Could
39 years.
Could you just imagine, like, the last cipher was, my name is, and just literally perfectly
Slim Shady.
Simon Wong.
Well, okay, if it was Slim Shady, we could have got through this movie a lot fucking faster if he rapped through all the people would fucking raps their lines as quick as Slim Shady. Yeah, the movie would have been done in about 40 minutes. Fucking perfect.
Well,
Even when he's
And then it
Have
could
you
have
not
ended with
seen
a
8
couple
Mile?
of it could have ended with a couple of snakes, and they could have just fucking duked it out, and it'd have been great.
Simon, you say that, but have you seen 8 Mile? That film went on forever.
okay.
Let's not talk about that fucking Barb versus Python.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said don't talk about 8 Mile for a second. No, we
No.
could. Okay.
There's so much I hated about that film.
Even worse.
You have no right to have a problem with Boa versus Python unless it's in like you're really angry about it being better than Tokyo Gore Police.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
You bet you got lower marks.
Yeah. But only because you really inflated yours for Tokyo Gore Police.
I did.
Antichrist is still the worst film we've had, so you know.
Wait.
Not a chance.
My
Fuck off.
personal opinion. Yeah, personal opinion.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay. Well, when I get into my actual bad movies, which I think
Don't-
everyone except for Dan knows what my actual worst movie is. We'll get into that later, right?
actual worst movie. What?
I had a
We'll explain. I'll explain it later. Like when I will keep it a surprise for others.
but no. Ultimately, coming back to Zodiac, my main problem with this isn't like I'm not gonna sit here and go, "This is a shit movie," because it's not a shit movie, and I'm not gonna go objectively. This doesn't make sense because it does make sense, and it's following real life events which are pretty much accurate to what happened. So I really don't have anything to. I really don't have anything substantial to levy at it, other than the fact I fucking hate it. I dislike, like, I've got friends who don't think that a serial killer should be glorified, and I've got friends who think that material about serial killers shouldn't be created, and I don't agree with that because the creation of this film was what led to people like reopening interest in this and like seeing it get more solved than it was. It's
But
still not solved, but like whatever.
it's kind of history. So
It's
Yeah,
it is
should be-
kind of history in the fact it happened, yeah.
yeah,
Um
kind of.
so
Not just a little bit, kind of.
yeah.
But I mean, like, I guess I get you guys what you're saying, like this, because like to quote what Alec was saying about glorifying murderers, essentially is what they had for that.
No problem with it.
Oh no, but you get what I mean, though, right? You those people who you're talking to who are like think it's glorifying murderers, but that's what happened in the movie as well, because it wasn't that during that fucking scene in like I don't remember where it was, like California or Colorado. I can't remember where the fuck this even takes place again.
San Francisco.
San Francisco? Fucking really? Okay, either
Yeah.
way.
It was
But
close.
They were in the taxi and they were having the fucking exposition taxi radio happening, and I was like, yeah, they should be talking about this. I should be like copycats and everything else. I was just like, I never thought I would see exposition radio being played for a scene that was about to kill someone. But it's great. I love exposition radio. It just like talks about how it is, all the stuff that just gets repeated, and it's just like, yeah, perfect exposition. They could have they could have sped up this movie if they had a bit more exposition radio.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got a problem with any of that.
That's fine.
But it's like that's also all okay because I think like the point of it is how much it got sensationalized. I think you can see that in the Brian Cox scene where he goes to meet him, and there's like fucking a million helicopters and cars and shit all up with reporters and that. And this like, yeah, this kind of failed because it got so sensationalized, and this like, yeah, like that is a good point. That's a really good point to be made. But yeah, I fundamentally dislike scenes where I don't know. Sorry, this is just gonna be horrible. And I just put myself in these scenes where people get fucking murdered, and I dislike being put into scenarios where I'm imagining I'm in this scenario and my loved one gets hogtied and fucking stabbed in the belly.
Oh yeah, I thought
that's
what you say.
No one can do anything, and that's just it. And it's just because, and it's not for any reason. It's just because some guy fucking wanted to, and it's the reason American Psycho gave me fucking like a weird nightmare. Like, I really haven't fucking enjoyed this round. And it's not something that it's not something that even happens to me very often. I'm not Rob. But like,
well, I was gonna say,
these are just really fucking horrible scenes, and I really don't. I can't stop myself from imprinting myself into these, and they're just horrible. And I know you have to depict these, and I know this is part of the story and shit like that. And like, I wouldn't even go as far as to say like it lingers on them too long, but these scenes are fucking terrible. I dislike them intensely. Yeah,
Humphrey.
I'm just forced to experience these. And thank you, Pat. That was really nice.
Okay, go on, Dan.
Yeah, go on, Hump.
The bit that got me was the one where the woman's in the car with the baby, and I'm like, no.
Oh yeah.
No. And then he picks up and he's like, oh, I didn't expect you to have a baby.
Imagine being there.
And then when you see her screaming, I'm like, oh no, don't, no. And then you find out that a baby's safe. I'm just like, because I know these things happen in real life, but yeah, it's a bit too much. Yeah, it's just it's not nice.
Okay,
you got to depict them. They're a part of the story, but
still not nice.
I was going to say,
nice. And then
Emmanuel would have gave this a much lower enjoyment score because of those scenes. I can imagine Emmanuel not enjoying this movie at all for those scenes alone. Fucking
And
horrific.
it's like I like some dialogue. Like there were little bits where I went, that was funny. Or like the bit where it's moaning about Dirty Harry and Jake Gyllenhaal goes, "Hey, just because you haven't got proof doesn't mean it's true." Mark Ruffalo goes, "Hey, hang on a minute, Dirty Harry," and I'm like, "Oh, that was a really good line. Really liked that line." But that doesn't outweigh. That scene was fucking horrible, and I really didn't enjoy that. And it was the point of the scene. The scene did that really, really well. I hated it. Good job, scene. Like, yeah, great. Thanks.
Stop creating a scene.
Um,
I don't want to. This is the thing. I don't even want to take the stance of like this film should have been made. It's fine.
I mean,
that scene should have been shot. I don't think that. I just dislike this.
Didn't they make a movie about the movie inside the movie?
what?
Yeah, because didn't they have like, because they have that one person that they try to like find it, and there's like he's got his watch, and they arrested him in the trailer, but they found out it wasn't him. So he was like, just like take some time off, go watch a movie or something, and he's in that cinema watching the film about essentially the Zodiac killer, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave the cinema. Excuse me, it's just have to escape because essentially he got like, what the fuck?
Sorry, I clicked on a YouTube article.
Okay, cool. But like, yeah,
Michael.
I accidentally clicked on The Athletic, and an advert come up.
okay, but they had the movie about Zodiac inside the movie about Zodiac. That's how. This is how long-winded this movie is, and I get that it has a story that it builds up on, and the characters that it's trying to like show you their emotions and all the things that they had to go through, right? But and it goes on. I'm repeating myself. It just goes on for too long, and it becomes very, very monotonous, I guess, because going back to the beginning of the movie, like the first like hour or so of the movie, they made it interesting because they had different actors play out who the Zodiac killer was during those scenes, which I thought was actually a very brilliant thing to do. Like the guy who kills the first couple in the car is the one actor. Then afterwards, the guy who goes and kills, hog ties the lady and dude and like stabs them is a whole another actor. And the guy who was like gonna kill the lady who had a baby was another actor. I was like, all right, that builds up like the mystery of who the actual Zodiac killer may have been, because it was a mystery and it was like creative that way. And I was like, that's fair enough. That's actually a very smart way to do it, because all of these actors were the Zodiac killer. It's supposed to be the same person, but obviously they're different actors, different builds, different heights, and different, different like facial structures and stuff. But because they kept their faces kind of like shrouded in mystery anyway, and it gave it the movie some like mysteriousness and some intrigue, and it made it interesting. But after those scenes happened, because that's again after the murders happened, and it goes on to like the second part of it with the Jake Gyllenhaal, Mr. Gracefish, finding everything with the paperwork and the files, and then zooming on the fucking like camera on the paperwork, looking for heavy breathing, the guy called George, and all that shit again, and it became.
He wore green that day.
Yeah, and that's green that day. After he goes into like the diner, he goes, George, heavy breathing, green that day. Everyone focuses on him fucking writing it shit down. It's like, you just repeat. I mean, it's so it went on.
It lost its momentum.
Yeah, that's the word.
There's stuff like when he goes to the he goes to Wallace Penny's house, and then the camera seems to go, Wallace Penny's the fucking guy. He's gonna fucking murder you. And Jake Gyllenhaal goes, oh fuck, he's gonna fucking murder me. And then he like runs up the little stairs, and he goes to the front door, and the front door's been locked, and he's like, oh my fucking god. And then Wallace Penny comes up, and he's like, ah, okay, yeah. And then he unlocks it, and he lets Jake Gyllenhaal out, and he goes, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
So I went on Reddit, and I was like, what's the deal with that? Like, why did the camera seem to go, he's the killer? Like, what the fuck happened there? And they were like, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal imagined him and he did this. And I was like,
What?
What the fuck are you talking about? But I'm also like, why was he there though? Like, what is this?
I was gonna say,
I thought he found the Zodiac killer by accident, but no.
Oh, they made it seem very much like that because he said about, oh, his handwriting's the same as the one in the letter. And it's, oh, I wrote the text on the posters. And it's like, oh, this bloke's
He literally never gets mentioned ever again.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what happened there? What was that?
I don't know. They didn't explain. Right, I'm gonna go because it's 1 o'clock and I'm tired.
Actually, it's
That's
5-1, so you got 5 more minutes in you.
ending statement, Dan, at least.
Favorite scene? Oh, I don't know.
I think my least favorite scene.
Yeah, I can probably tell you my least favorite scene is probably the one with the woman in the car and the baby. So I was just like, don't do this. But I don't know.
I think actually, what's good is if you can offset it, because like I hate the scene where he hog ties the couple and fucking stabs them, but I like the scene where he goes, "How's the coffee?" and he points at the thing that says "delicious coffee," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, these things didn't balance out at all."
Yeah. There's a lot of like when he says about him being a retard.
Yeah, that was really funny.
There's a lot, yeah,
And it's like, was it funny enough to offset this? No,
no.
no, it wasn't.
I'm trying to think. I think the first murder was done like the way it was like shot was quite cool. Like the fact that he comes in and it's dark, then he goes off, he comes back and he just shoots them. Like I think that was really well made. It was a scene, but I don't know. There was a. I don't know. Yeah, because the problem is, as you said, 3/4 or the last quarter of the film, it's just bloated. But, I'm really struggling for a favourite scene.
I mean, like that beginning scene, right? Was like I can't play it off as a joke for one particular reason, because my brother said it and I couldn't, and it stuck in my head. They would go, because like it starts off like they were on the 4th of July, was it? And they're like, they go out, and then it's like, and they would go, all right, come on, let's go get something to eat. I haven't ate for 24 hours. And they pass by the diner, and it's like, but boy, you're so hungry. No, let's just go somewhere quiet. My brother heard this, and I was like, yep, she's gonna eat. She'll eat some dick soon. And I was like, that's the type of hot humor that I can just. This is where I get my humor from my family. We're just crude people. Like, yeah, she's gonna go get some eat. She's gonna eat some dick. That's it. That's all she needs. That's because he watches Rick and Morty a lot as well. And I guess understand that sort of humor. And I saw Rob smirk just slightly, so I think he can understand where I get the humor from as well. That's all I need to say. It's only my favorite scene because my brother made the comment and it's stuck in my head and I can't get it out of my head. And that's the only reason why it's my favorite scene.
I wish someone made a comment during this. I'd have had something to latch on to.
Actually, I thought about my favourite scene. It's probably when they're talking to him and he says, and it's like they're looking at his different things, like his watch, and then his boots, and they're kind of surmising that he's the bloke that done it. I thought that was quite cool. That's probably the one that.
Yeah, that was the only point I felt like they were getting somewhere, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yay!" Then it went,
Yeah.
"No,
No.
they're not getting anywhere," and you're like, "Oh,
You think
well."
its handwriting's not very good.
All because his K was different. Like, you can't modify your handwriting. It's just a natural thing.
Even
Maybe
though
that's why handwriting studies got phased out.
That's why you had to go to the second handwriting expert, right?
Oh fuck it! To be honest, he could have probably been blind and he would have not noticed anything.
If you were trying, like, not being funny, if you were trying to evade that, you know the handwriting analysis is a thing and you're a criminal. Like, you can't fucking change that. Like, you can't change how you write a K. Like, fucking shut up.
No, you know what's really stupid? In this period of time, there was a lot of corruption in like police force. I'm surprised they didn't just falsify the evidence and made him actually convict him of it, because that would have made more fucking sense. And the fact of
that would have been interesting, but I think I know why. Because he was, without making it sound too much about a race thing, it was because he was a working white man. Because remember when they had the killer from the taxi, they said on the reports, like on the radio, it's like, yeah, we're looking for a black dude in like a jacket and stuff. And it's like they skipped over who could have been the Zodiac killer in his dark grey suit, because the radio went off about him being a black dude instead. And it's like, all right, yeah, it could be a race thing completely.
All we know is that if he was the Queen's son, he'd have been all right. But
yes, okay, Rob, we need to edit this out. We need to cut it out. Come on.
And on that bombshell, I'm going. Bye. Bloody hell. You'd have to bring him up, wouldn't you?
This is where Film Club comes to an end.
Yeah, we're all on a list.
Yeah, she just comes out from the afterlife and she's like, "Oh,
you bastard,
your Film
Alec.
Club.
You mentioned my son again."
Jeez, I'm glad you all attribute that much significance to me. Then.
I'm gonna head off in a minute,
Stop it, Pat.
but
Stop it.
my favourite scene was the scene on the plane between Paul and David. Like where he sort of he goes to sit next to him and he's like, no, you can't sit here. So he's sort of half creating a scene and then goes to his seat and is basically like, oh look, you're making me sit over here when I could have sat over there, kind of thing.
That's the level of like quality of the scene. Even it's just them trying to be funny.
And he had all that tension, and all he could do was go back and sit in the smoke scene section of the plane, which actually really makes me think about, damn, is that what the time period of the film is? Like, you could still smoke on planes? I was like, oh yeah.
But also I did like how they put together the murder scenes. I mean, they're quite uncomfortable to watch, but they're pretty well done.
Okay, I'll give you that. The production for those were very, very well.
Well, it's because they was quite realistic. They weren't like a fictional serial killer where it was just like a bit like Hannibal Lecter, where it's like completely over the top. This was like visceral. You know what's going to happen, and it's just drawing it out too long.
Well, I mean, like, if it's based off the real thing, right? And it's like the Zodiac killer was clever enough to go back and check. She tied you up real loosely, huh? Let me fix that for you. I was like, that's shit. Oh, that's horrific. But yeah, that's the way it is. But unfortunately, because those those people got stabbed and she died. That's real. That's fucked up. And that's all I can say.
Right, I'm definitely going now.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Right,
Right.
see you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks for a
Whoa.
horrible film, Pat.
Bye.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay. Okay. So I think is Rob still around?
Oh.
Okay. But we'll continue this on for like a couple of minutes because I feel like everyone else has left around.
This is where he shuts it off. That's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so I feel like I feel like the movie was somewhat enjoyable to watch for the first good half of it, right? This fairly considerably long movie that didn't really explain too much. But because it ended on the second half, or let's say the second wind of this movie, with Jake Gyllenhaal going back and redoing the ciphers and checking it all out again, it was not as interesting.
Yeah, I felt like it. I felt like it had a pace in the beginning, and it just didn't carry it on, and it's like it's the frustrating thing. I can't have a go at it on an objective level. It's fine, but yeah, pacing wise, the oh, I don't know. This shit where like he starts going into it and it starts getting a bit more high profile, and then he starts getting calls from someone who starts just breathing heavily, and I'm like, oh yeah, well done, man. Like you kind of knew this was a fucking issue. Like why even do this for fuck's sake?
I feel
And it's like this stuff all happened. This stuff, like, and it's like, yeah, I get it. It's just, I don't care about this person. Sorry, he's like actively throwing himself into danger. I'm like,
okay. Oh, and I think Rob just logged off, and I'm the host. Well, all I
That's
can
okay.
say is that this movie, if people like this movie and like rediscovered like the Zodiac killer through this,
stupid.
well, it's not that. It's I would say this: if we could do a movie about cryptids next, we can really. If we did a Bigfoot movie and it made everyone really want to look for Bigfoot again, I would be happy with that. But until then, I feel like we'll just end it there.
That's fair. Rob's laptop died.
Yeah. I just said that. All right, we'll end it there then.
All good.